Y'all, I'm here. What a day. How's everybody doing? I don't even know if anybody's on right now. Ugh. Today was so hellacious. I just don't know how I got through it. My yesterday my shoulders and like neck started aching really badly, and I didn't really put together that that was what was making me not feel good. So I just like went to bed early. Um, and then, you know, went about my day today. But yeah, today it was like super intense. So I've been dealing with all this like pain and like tightness. And it's just made everything super awkward and painful and more difficult than it needed to be. So I wasn't sure. Anyway, long story short, we'll see how far I get tonight. Um, with the reading, I don't know. I'm hoping to at least get through a couple chapters, but we'll see. I am feeling a bit better. I've been doing some stretching and I took some painkillers, nothing good, just, like ibuprofen, but we'll see. We'll see how I do. We'll see how far I get. It's from twisting. Don't twist. No, it's not from twisting. I think it's from the smoke. I hadn't really put together that I knew there were wildfires happening nearby, but today it kind of became apparent just looking at the sky that there's a bit of smoke in it. So I think the smoke kind of is causing me to have pain. I don't think it's anything I did physically. I think it's just a reaction that I'm having. Some, and I've been coughing a bit too, actually. All thoughts are lies. Well, your thoughts are lies. Dang. So yeah, I don't know. It's impacting me definitely. We're having if you can see the sky behind me, the lighting isn't very, it comes through pretty bright, but the sky is pretty orange right now. Hey, Becca. Hey, Irish Repub, Tomas, Tar Baby Yoda, Seasal. I saw Christ Conquers in here earlier. I don't know if he's still hanging out, but shout out. Yeah, I don't know. My system is delicate, and things like smoke can cause, like especially wildfire smoke, can cause autoimmune things to flare up in me. I don't take any of that kind of medicine from the doctor, CSAL. Like I'm currently boycotting the medical industry, especially like in terms of dealing with the condition I have. Like I'm tired of it. Just the bullying, the intimidation, the I don't know. It's a lot. I'm not really. I stopped taking um, the drugs that they had me on a couple of years ago now. Actually, oh god, ow. So yeah, the pain will spasm up occasionally. It's a bit intense. So anyway, so I'm not taking anything for that. I will occasionally take like ibuprofen a little bit, or like an acetaminophen type thing, but mostly it's just supplements and dealing with it. The pain is going to be there regardless, and honestly, I just don't want to like deal with the side effects of all the drugs that they put you on, and they make you jump through so many hoops to get the drugs, and then they're just like it's this endless spiral. And when I was on the drugs, like I was having all kinds of reactions and other really scary things happening, honestly. So with autoimmune disorders specifically, what they do is they'll give you drugs that kind of target your immune system and weaken it. And hi, Santino. Good to see you. But anyway, I'm kind of going on. But yeah, those drugs over time really do destroy your immune system. And I have built it back up a lot better now than it was a few years ago. But I was having infections start cropping up. Like if my cat scratched me, for example, I had it get infected, or it would take like weeks and weeks to heal. Like I had this cat scratch that, I kept having to deal with, and it was like weeks later and it still looked fresh. Or I remember like I scratched myself like on the eyebrow and that got infected. So I was having like these weird like skin infections come up, like not, and then you imagine like anyway, boring stuff. I don't want to talk about like all of that stuff. We all got to cross to there. And like for me, I'd rather just deal with, the condition I have than bring up new things into me, So, yeah. It is what it is. Yellow dial soap is pretty good. I love the way it smells. I do be liking that. Well, I mean, it was beyond that even. It was, and they get, anytime you have like infections like that, they give you antibiotics. So that just causes other problems. Like it's pretty strong soap. Definitely recommend that. The American government surely keeps us sick, says Santino. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the government so much. I mean, I don't think they help with like the food regulations we have, or like the way that the medical industry runs the government to a large extent. We saw what happened with COVID, for example. I mean, that was also kind of what that helped kind of spur my desire to get away from like my rheumatologist that I was seeing and just like the kind of drug mill that I was on, because they were pressuring me so much to take like the jab and take it again and again and again. Like, no. So it was, I kind of just like, and they were just so disrespectful. And at that time I was like losing my ability to walk, like physically. I was struggling with something I never struggled with before. And they were just like so unhelpful and dismissive. And yeah, it's just all kinds of things. Long intro, 10 minutes in. I'm sorry, Matt Osman. I'll get started on your book now. I know Matt's watching. Shout out to Matt. He's probably my favorite member of Suede, to be honest. Probably my favorite member. There's something about him. Okay, poison foods, poison drugs, and poisoning our minds. Hey, that's true. You're right about that. Oh, God. Ow, 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 ow. Y'all, it's terrible. Ugh. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. We'll see how I get through this. So this is chapter 4. A rainstorm broke at 6 bells as the city drained home. Shay kept a hand on the pennies in her pocket as she walked south to the sound of drunks singing and the rainwater rushing through the streets. She made herself unremarkable, hands in pockets and as heedless of the other walkers as any man, and trod lightly until she was at Butolph Wharf. Butolph Wharf. That's a very funny word, Butolph. She waited in the shadows as passengers stepped from the murk onto the sodden boards of the wharf. A scrappy mist was rising, and the lights of Southwark brightened and dimmed across the river. Faraway fires illuminated the last bear baiting of the day. London never rested. To her left, the roar of the bridge's water wheel cut through the fog, and to her right, she could just make out the windmills of Horsley Down. Constant motion. Shay squatted in the lee of a wall, and there was no sign of her father's boat yet. Above her, the skeleton of a new tower rose from the remains of a monastery, and workmen cried out to each other, some in English, some in Flemish. The monks' cells had already been converted into houses, and now the stones of the outer walls were being reshaped into a tower that would add 20 more rooms. Every day brought more buildings to the city. Houses grew new stories, and roads sprouted whole districts. Slums shot up like mushrooms around the gates. They said in the 6 months it took to draw a map of the city, it was already hopelessly out of date. Wind and water and fire and stone. London consumed them all. It harnessed them and drove onward, as much a river as a city. It's interesting to think of what 16th, or what would have been 17th century London was like. I mean, imagine 1601. What was London like? It must have been a spectacle. I wonder what kind of research he did just writing this. Shay listened to the river's whisper, storm drain gurgle, and the hushed conversations of waiting oarsmen. If it hadn't been for the cries of the passengers, "Westward ho!" or "Oars, oars!" she might have slept. The crowd thinned, and those left were either hushed by the mist or stupefied with drink. Bells rang twice while she waited. Lonan was late. The water was as gray as wood smoke, and lanterns were lit in the distance. Then, finally, a familiar prow peeled itself out of the mist. Its white paint looked gray in the gloom, and the beak was invisible. But Shay knew the curve of it. She gave a low whistle, which was echoed back to her. She levered herself from her hiding place and shook some feeling back into her feet. Careful steps over the wet boards, and then, too late, she froze. 3 men, gentlemen by the cut of their clothes, stood talking at the water's edge. She hadn't heard them arrive, so they must have walked along the foreshore. There was a gaming house a few streets over. "Oars! For fuck's sake, oars!" yelled out one across the river. As if in answer, the white boat glided out of the mist, but the gentlemen were staring upstream. Shay kept to the shadows and tiptoed onto the wharf. She shuffled to the edge of the boards and caught the rope that she knew would be thrown from the boat. As quietly as possible, she wrapped the rope around the iron ring. Her father stood with one foot on the boat and one on the wharf to pull the craft closer. He didn't say a word. The boat had barely grazed the wharf before she was reaching for the rope. But then a boot stepped lightly on her fingers, a gentle pressure, but enough to let her know not to move. "What's this?" The man pulled back his boot and squatted down, placing his hand over Shay's. Again he did it gently, as if about to give bad news. He called out to the boatman, "Did you not hear me call oars?" His eyes scanned Shay. They were sharp. He wasn't as drunk as she'd hoped. A voice from the water, her father playing up his feebleness. "I did, sir. But this isn't much of a boat for a fine crowd such as you. It's a squeeze for 3 farmers, let alone 3 gentlemen. I thought I would take this young lady across, and you might take a wherry. A wherry. A wherry. That must be some kind of ship that they used. It's also interesting to think about people getting by on ship. Like, kind of exciting, too, to think about, like, the different wharfs. I mean, I've been to some of the wharfs in London, and actually when I was there, I got on their, like, this boat. They have, like, a boat system that you can go on that's part of the, like, public transit. I don't remember the system, but I got an Oyster card, and we used that to get on the boat. This, like, I don't know. It was fun. I don't remember where we went from. It was like either we were leaving the Tower of London on it or we were coming to the Tower of London on it. I don't remember. But it was a cool thing to experience. Yeah, it would be interesting to have that. I still haven't been on the river here. Like, I've lived here forever and I've never gone on the Willamette. I don't know why. They have different boats you can go on. There's one that's kind of like a big celebratory boat that I thought might be fun to try, but I don't know. I just really haven't looked into it. Anyway, sorry. Let me get back into this. There are plenty out on the water still. Cushioned they are and covered over. Some might even have a tot of rum to keep out the chill. Young lady, you say? The man pushed back Shay's cap. Whatever he saw there didn't surprise him. Well, I think we can decide whether your boat provides the diversions we require, and we could always make a detour to drop off this young lady on our way. Shay stiffened. The best outcome was that she got in the boat alone. The next best was that the men took the boat and she slept here. The 5 of them in the boat together would be the very worst thing that could happen. A terrifying adult decision. If she were to struggle, was he more or less likely to take the boat? Her father hesitated and then dropped to his knees. She saw the stiffness in his legs and how uncomfortably he folded himself. He pulled a lantern close to his face and opened his eyes wide. 2 marbled orbs, speckled and deep like curdled milk, pupils hidden somewhere within like fish under Thames ice. He rolled them left and right. Funny if you weren't trusting your life to him. As you say, sirs, perhaps you will be kind enough to let me know of any smaller obstacles. The larger I sense well enough. A hoot of laughter rang out from one of the man's companions. Oh ho! I didn't think the journey home would be the most dangerous part of tonight. Only you could choose a slut who looks like a prentice boy and a blind ferryman. The man looked from Shay to her father and then back to his companions. He removed his hand from hers and, watching all the time, shoved her, hand on arse, into the boat. Is she going to get R-worded? I'm tired of reading books where women get R-worded. Like, God, I'm tired of it. Ugh. God, why? Again. I'm getting ahead of myself. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, we were reading that other book months ago, And then she's like, oh, here's the story of how I got molested. And now this. I don't know. I can't read the book before I read it, Cecil. Don't pick those books. I don't know what's going to be in the book until I read the book, I don't. Dang, man. What the heck? Well, we'll see. Maybe she won't. Maybe they'll get out of it. She seems kind of scrappy. Maybe they'll kill these guys. Who knows? Ow, y'all. And it's not like a lot of books don't advertise stuff like that. They don't, they don't have trigger warnings or whatever. I'm not triggered. I don't know. I find it can be kind of grotesque. Yeah. And for the faint of heart, it's not nice. And I'm a bit faint of heart. Okay. So where were we? Then with the same bored air, he kicked the boat away from the wharf. The rope rushed through her hands, and the mist swallowed the figures in an instant. His cry came again from the shores. Oars, oars, westward ho, and for God's sake, oars. She collapsed back into the boat, making it rock. I'm sorry, Father, she said. I thought the wharf was empty. His back was to her. No, it was my mistake, too. I heard voices, but I thought they were east of the wharf. It's this fog. Okay. There we go. Okay. They sent her off. We're okay. I don't know, Tar Baby Yoda. He did say that his stepfather kissed him on the mouth, which I thought was inappropriate. But he didn't allude to anything like that in his book. Although I don't know. I mean, sometimes that's a reason people, become, what's the word? Why some people become tortured souls because of that. But not always. So I think it maybe have been a number of factors. So, and he seemed to be coddled quite a bit by his mother, and he really identified with her growing up. So I don't know. And he thought like his daddy was scary. So I don't know. Like, I think a lot of things. Anyway. She began to row while her father steered with a single long oar. He stood tall, sniffing at the air and reading the vibrations from the water. He read the tides better than anyone else on the river, and Shay marveled at the subtlety of his movements. They cut across the river, heading for the south bank, where traffic was quieter. He kept up a series of low, bubbling whistles and got back an occasional call. About 50 yards across, a voice swaddled in mist said, "That you, Lonan?" "It is. I've not seen you all night, John. You empty?" "I am. Been out to Westminster, but I'm looking for one more fare before I head home." The man was invisible, but Shay could hear the rhythm of the oars keeping the boat still. "There are 3 gentlemen on Butthole Wharf, rich enough and heading west." Shay heard no warning in her father's voice, but the unseen voice laughed. "But they've been gaming, and I'm not sure their sport is over for the night." A silence as her father's words hung on the air. "Thank you, Lonan. It's too late in the day for games. I'll try elsewhere, I think." Okay. I wonder if her father was like worked on as a, like, I don't know. I mean, how does it work? It's interesting to think that this was a way people got around back in the day. Jesus, Yoda, we don't know that for sure. I don't think Derek did. I don't know. Hi, Micheling. That's a cute name. High Point Fire. I think I saw, who else I saw in here? I saw Golden TV and Kevin McAllister's here. Hi. What's going on over here? We're just reading a little book. Could we play chess on your chest? Indeed, you cannot. Robert held back. He did not hold back enough because he put a lot of stuff in there that I didn't want to know. Okay. South towards the riverbank. The bridge was a word on the tip of your tongue, close but elusive. Sleeping swans appeared and were lost in the mist. The boat came within a yard of a cob with the beak tucked between his wings, and Shay saw a thin eye open and close. The birds are gods, she whispered. South of the river belonged to animals. Lonan brought them close enough to Southwark to hear the bleat of sheep. Some unfortunate countrymen had arrived after the bridge had closed and would be sleeping in the warm heart of his flock tonight. Guard dogs barked in the better riverfront properties, while geese hissed in the poorer. Having a guard goose. Would you have a guard goose? I would love to have a guard goose. Instead of a dog, just have a goose chase people off of your property. That would be hilarious. Those suckers are mean. You ever been chased by a goose? They are mean. Oh, that would be great. Oh man. My aunt and uncle had a goose on their property. He was I liked him, but he was kind of grumpy. And actually he got his foot broken when I was visiting because someone run over his foot. And he was, very, very grumpy after that. He was not friendly after that. Poor thing. Poor baby. Okay. Where were we? I do love swans as well. I used to see them a lot when we would go for drives growing up, me and my dad. Every time we went along like the Turnagain Arm, once we went past Portage, there would always be swans. And sometimes they'd be in the city too. Like they had places they would be, but they were kind of out of the way. But that drive along the Turnagain Arm, there was always at least in the summer, guaranteed to see swans. So, let's see. And mountain goats. Mountain goats were pretty cool too. Sometimes I saw belugas, moose, but you could see moose in the city. Sometimes you could see belugas in the city too. Yeah. What other critters did I see on the Turnagain Arm? Eagles. Saw eagles. Ravens, obviously. So you guys can sometimes see those in the city too. Sometimes I see eagles here. And hawks and other birds of prey. They're really exciting to watch fly. Well, anyway, excuse me. Do you like goats? I've never eaten goat curry. I've eaten goat. But I don't know. It feels wrong to eat goat. Frederick sees vultures. Yeah, they have them further south there. When I lived in Arizona, there were tons of vultures, and they would hang out in the park near where I lived. They're so cool, those turkey vultures. They're very cool bird. I mean, I love birds, period. I don't think they're gods, though, like this girl does. She goes, the birds are gods. Which I suppose is why she was freeing birds from that, shop that was selling them. Because I think it's part of her, she's some kind of, gypsy person or something, just to be... Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's proper. She sounds like she's in some kind of pagan family, and they're up to all kinds of stuff. Okay, so guard dogs. Okay, let's see. Okay, east downriver, bull cries and the snuffle of roar of bears. Tomorrow's entertainment proclaiming its existence, perhaps for the final time. I did hear about how they used to have bear fights in London, where they would have bears fight to the death, or just crazy stuff like that. Lonan said, you're late tonight. I've been by a couple of times. We'll only just make the murmuration. Shay knew that he was trying to keep reproach from his voice. She said, I ended up with a new job. An odd kind of thing, but it pays tuppence. I'll put my back into it and we'll be there before the starlings. Her father leant to the rudder, moving the boat fractionally away from the bank. Spiky tangles of coots' nests clumped up over hanging roots. Did you see any birds on your travels? He asked. She wouldn't mention the bird shop because he'd worry. Instead, she told him about the pair of peregrines she'd seen near Gray's Inn Road. Her heart had leapt when she saw them, not so much for her, but to be able to tell her father later. Peregrines were old favorites of his, and rare near the city now that it was noisy and overhung by smoke, she said. Carts coming from the north were driving bulls out into the fields, and the peregrines hunted for hours. She wished she could express the way the bird had transformed in front of her. Its transition from a hanging thing to a twist of violence, barreling down, rotating and accelerating until the talons snapped forth. The bird scuffling onto the ground and coming away with something limp in its claws. They're faster than death, you know, said Lonan, edging the boat towards the rush of the tide. Shay had heard him say this many, many times, but could always stand to hear it again. The fastest we men can go here on Earth is on horseback, up to 30 miles in an hour. The only men who've been faster than that were those falling to their death. His laugh was a creak of oars. It's true, the fastest men were those on their way to die. To reach 50 miles in an hour, you'd have to fling yourself from a cliff. But you're peregrines today, 60 miles in an hour, faster even than death. He sniffed at the air. They were east of the city now, and Southwark's meat and smoke and ale and sewer were being replaced by country odors. Shay rode harder until she could feel the sweat cool on her skin. Later, Shay thought that she could have kept talking about the birds. Lonan maneuvered them around the eddies of Placentia's palace, Seagate, and once they were back on Stillwater, his voice had changed. Remember diving here when we were courting, love? We swam right under those barges. Shay stopped rowing. It wasn't unusual for Lonan's memory to become unmoored when they were back at home. At times he would talk to her as if she were Ava, her mother, dead in these 11 years. Normally, when it happened, she gently reminded him in the voice you might use with a dog, "Mother is gone, Father. It's me, Shay, your daughter." And usually that was enough. He would grumble and fiddle, but he would use her name carefully from then on. Usually, sometimes though, however dangerous it might be. She said nothing when he went into this kind of reverie. She had so little of her mother left, her tortoiseshell comb, her sewing things, and these moments. They were the only times that Lonan spoke of her, and in those fragile, tender seconds, it was as if her mother came silently and to sit alongside them. She envied nothing of her father's life except this. He had moments when he was with Ava again. But now wasn't the time for that. Now on the Swan boat, where a tantrum would put both of them in freezing water, she said as plainly as she could manage, "I'm Shay, your daughter. Ava's not here, Father." And he was silent for a long while after that. Oh, how sad. Oh. East again with the river racing, a tidal tug that doubled her strength. At Wapping, unspeaking, Lonan guided them deeper into the center of the Thames. The Wapping gallows were reserved for pirates, and their corpses hung low above the water until the tides had drowned them 3 times over. She hated to see it. Bodies so bruised purple and bloated that they squeezed like sausage meat from their clothes. Ew, how disgusting. So they took it, the pirates, and they I guess they drowned them there. Oh, God. Hello, Modern Gentleman. Modern Gentleman is also watching. Good to see you. Oh God, yeah, that must have been so disturbing to like be on the water every day and to have to see those bodies all bloated and disgusting. Ugh. Ugh. Gulls would set about them in furious flurries, with beaks wet from digging deep into the juiciest prizes. Oh God. And miles further on, you'd see the piles of feathers stained red with blood. There was still a semicircle of sun in the west as nets of birdland came into view. Dusk meant the murmuration, the vast flock of starlings that roosted on the marsh. As twilight fell, they performed a whirring aerial display, a display from which Shay, like her mother before her, were supposed to divine some kind of meaning. She squinted out over the marsh. There was no sign of the birds yet, but a raggle-taggle procession of people snaked out between the nets and the marsh's lone tree, wings of hair silhouetted against the gray as the adults led, babble and scurry of the younger ones scattering lugworms for the crows. They moved at the pace of the slowest, men on sticks, women bent double. Okay, interesting. So the oldest people in the community kind of set the pace, or anybody who was crippled. Hey, it looked like the whole Birdland community was there. They'd started without her. They tied up the boat as daylight faded. Normally, the path home to Birdland would be illuminated with a zigzag of torches, but they'd not been lit tonight. That was no problem for Lonan. He led the way across the most solid parts of the marsh where their feet only sank an inch into the spongy surface. Occasionally, in the distance, a plume of marsh gas spouted, treating the dusk to the kind of deep, cold blue that you'd imagine only the sky could provide. Shay sensed birdland off to their left. The faintest of glows circumscribed the outline of the empty homes. They caught up with the rest of the Aviscultans. Hey, Harmony, thank you. Tomas is going to do 5 miles of cardio as part of his workout. Any further suggestions? I don't know. Bike, maybe? Yeah, biking can be fun. The pool's closed. That's too bad. Why did my light get all dark, y'all? Well, anyway, let's continue. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this word. It's what they're called, apparently, or what she is. A Visculton? Aviscultans? Has anyone ever heard this term? I've never heard it before. Well, anyway. Okay. Okay, so they caught up with the rest of them just yards before they reached the tree, and Shay slid in the front of the line, trying to give the impression of arriving exactly on time. The birds are gods, she said automatically, and won a volley of, and the gods are birds, from the fledglings. An elderly man took her father's arm, and the pair disappeared back into the column of people. Shay ignored the thinness of the crowd. This was all of them. In her mother's time, there would have been twice the number, and she used to reminisce about the crowds of her own youth. The pace was slow, and Shay used the time to get her mind in order. As always, she calmed herself by imagining a hawk-eye view. Up, 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 until the parade was a charcoal arrow on a white background, pointing to the bullseye of the starling's tree. It worked its distant magic, and her tension drained away. Here, let's stop. She halted the group 20 feet from the tree on a dryish patch of grass. and the babble died down. She lay on her back, and around her people fell gratefully to the ground. Damp grass seeped against her shoulder blades and buttocks. Did Kevin leave? I can't keep up with y'all. Oh dear. Well, anyway. Her voice had sounded good. Often it wouldn't do what she wanted, but today she was authoritative. The children ran around, elastic with excitement, darting to the tree and back again, while scanning the skies for the first returning bird. Shay loved the moments just before something happened. It was the same hush that had fallen as the curtain was drawn back at Blackfriars. 100 sets of eyes on the heavens as a single bird appeared, a lone pencil mark on a paper sky. Then a couple more, then a trickle, then a river, and then, like a cloudburst, thousands of birds turned the sky illegible. Too many to count, too many to see. Even the numbers pinned and shrunk you. The sky boiled until, with a grace that even now left Shay breathless, the birds became a single entity. What were they? They were the shape of candle smoke, or that twist of stars that lights clear nights. They were black silk. Patterns dissolved seamlessly into one another as they took on a form that was older than the earth itself, from an age before men's straight lines. The flock flexed like a muscle, and she felt its torsion and bulge, the way it stretched away. Shay tried to inhabit her mother's voice. Words waited to keep them from being wind-whipped across the marsh. When it had been Shay and her mother lying out here, hand in hand, her mother's thumb would trace a pattern on Shay's palm. Unconsciously or consciously, Shay never knew. Years later, she still felt its absence, like the first time she lost a tooth. Tongue exploring that fresh loss. Her body a foreign country. She made a fist and watched her tribe, 100 humans huddled in a thrall to 10,000 cavorting starlings, even little ones, the fledglings, who had cooed and cheered and gasped at the display, were now breathless on their backs. She wished that this was enough, to lie damp under the sky and shrink in awe of the oldest of languages. Why did people have to know what it meant? What she wanted to say was that it looked like London, with its beauty and wildness and the way it changed while staying the same. It had the city's graceful panic and heart-fluttered joy. And like London, to see the flock was to be part of it. There were no bystanders, but there were unspoken rules about what the murmuration was allowed to reveal. Even the future had its traditions. Would she ever have the gleam that had lit her mother's eyes on these occasions? She doubted it. But Shay doubted everything. Every eye watched her, needful, thirsty, and she took a deep breath. How had none such done it? She waited seconds longer than she normally would have done and sharpened the edges of her voice. Did we all see a candle and a wick? A question. Shay loved the way that her mother had led you to the doorway of revelation and then invited you to step through. It made the murmuration a gift rather than a lesson. My cheeks are rougey. I didn't even put on any blush today. Are they rougey? Or are they? I think they're just appearing that way. Hi, Maina. Maina loves these books. Y'all, what? Did we see bright flames that danced in the wind, and at their heart the silent fuel, the weight of it all? Rain clouds bearing down and black figures sullen and sodden under a dome of rain. Everyone had agreed in those rudderless days after her mother's death, when morning came too soon and sleep too late, that Shay had the sight like no one else, but she dared not admit that her visions had always been partly play acting, a way to feel closer to her mother. A candle and wick, she said, a pause to let the others see it too. The world is made of flames. Her mind was blank and the birds twisted like twine. Her hands were, and always would be, empty. We are the wick. All will burn, but only we will survive. Tomas. Stop it. I'm not going to read that, Mina. No, we're not doing that here. Yeah, I know. He does write very, lyrically. That's a good way of putting it. Later on, back at their house, people came by, other Episcopalians who traveled down for the murmuration, who brought news from Leeds and Gwent and Cornwall and Wexford. They had the same quiet gift for anonymity that Shay had cultivated. Nothing in their beliefs was illegal, but these were suspicious times, and no one with any sense drew attention to their differences. They were uniformly small and quiet and endlessly deferential towards Shay. She tried to play with the children. It seemed only days ago that she was one of them herself. But the fledglings were rigid with politeness. They brought food. Once it would have been treats, crystallized ginger from the Royal Exchange or genuine French brandy. But this year it was staples. The Johnsons had brought barley, and there was a bag of turnips, still caked in mud, hanging by the front door. Shay hadn't had to ask for these things. Lonan's skin hung down like old clothes, and the river had already frozen twice this year. Every iced-over day meant no money for the boatmen. Shay mingled among the strangers and left half of her dinner unfinished. Lonan could have it tomorrow, and she could eat at the theater. One single afternoon there, and already she was planning her return to the Blackfriars. Why did she always want to be wherever she wasn't? In the city with the smoke and the shit and the grabbing hands and the way money was always just around the corner. But never this corner. Well, it made her yearn for a horizon and enough air to swallow her cries. But back in Birdland, she was hemmed in by the scale of the place. Today she would swap the sky and marsh for a wooden box in front of a stage, and a world unfolded from a painting mouth. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's see. Do the honors, Shay. Colm held out a razor and strop. The girl sat with her back to Shay, her shoulders hunching as Colm rubbed ox fat into what was left of her hair. It had been cut without care, ready for the shaving, and the girl fitted the name fledgling better than most today. Shay knelt and whispered in her ear, "It won't take a moment." The girl sat very still. She looked composed, but her muscles were taut under the soft fuzz of her neck, and she flinched when Shay laid a hand on her. The girl was one of the flock of youngsters who followed her on her rounds every morning. Her mother would have known the girl's name and would have had a pocket full of sunflower seeds ready to press into her hand. Shay knelt and took the girl by the shoulders. "What's your name?" Chahine, an old name, Arabian, from back in Aviscolton history, before they were windblown all over Europe. Too big a name for fledglings somehow, like a child dressing in grown-up clothes. Do you want to see my tattoo first, Shaheen? The tiniest of nods. The girl parted the stubble on Shay's crown to look at the bird pictured beneath. Nice, she said tentatively. Shay stayed on her knees. I had it done 2 years ago, and it hardly hurt at all. What have you chosen for yours? The girl continued playing with Shay's hair. A goshawk, she whispered. Oh, Shay's surprise was genuine. Girls tended to choose peacocks or parrots. Usually it was just the boys who went for the hunters. Such a fierce little fledgling. She gave the girl's ear a playful tweak. The girl wriggled and grinned. I want to do the murmuration when you're gone. I have to be a lone bird. Shay looked around to make sure no one else was listening and kept her voice low. When I'm gone? Her readings had never been as popular as her mother's, but as far as she knew, the murmuration was a job for life. She hadn't asked for the role. It had been handed to her, along with her mother's things. The girl bowed her head, and Shay held the razor poised, ready to shave. I just meant if you weren't around, she said with her head down. If you went away or something. But after that, she couldn't look Shay in the eyes. A goshawk. Hello, Zenny. I've eaten high-chew candy. I love high-chew candy. They're so good. I don't have it very often, but they're so good. I like the peach-flavored one the best. Candace Owens got threatened. Is she okay? Oof. A starless night and an empty belly. Theirs was the only house with the ladder still down. Shay stamped her feet at the bottom as Lonan climbed, and then she followed, placing her hands where his had melted the skin of frost from the rungs. Inside it was bitterly cold, with a thin tang of river water. She lit a candle while her father oriented himself. He touched his glass, his pouch, his needlework, until satisfied, he collapsed back into the chair. A fire? Asked Shay. In previous years, they lit a daily fire as soon as autumn arrived, but money was scarce now. Cold pooled in the corners of the room, and the furniture stored winter right at its core. I'm not sure it's worth it. I'll be asleep in a quarter hour, Lonan said, his breath white in the candlelight. Shay was relieved and saw that there were only 2 scrawny logs in the basket anyway. She should have bought firewood in town today. If she'd taken one more message, then she would have had enough money to fill the wood basket and end the charade that it was somehow still autumn. But London swept the memories and responsibilities of this place clean out of her. Once she was in the city, Birdland, her home, the place she was born, her family became something out of a story to her. Tomorrow, then, I'll make it cozy for you, she said. Since Lonan had lost his sight, his emotions floated to the surface more easily. His smile was brief and luminous, and as always, it stuck a needle in her. To be so loved, it shouldn't be such a burden. She tried to warm her hands in her pockets and found the twist of paper. Hey, I got you something. She knelt in front of him and unfurled the thick wrapper. He followed the rustling with a tilt of the head, and she held it under his nose. The color was so much like amber that you expected to see an insect trapped inside beneath its grit of sugar. His nostrils twitched, like a peach. No, peach and orange. She touched it to his lips, and he opened wide like a baby bird. He waited with it on his tongue, then closed his mouth and worked it around. Again, the pinprick of guilt, the depths of relish he found in a taste were glorious and shaming. He chewed, moving it from cheek to cheek. I really don't know. It's delicious, though. It's called an apricot, she said. The wind was low, but still the movements of the nets transmitted vibrations through the fabric of the house. Shay slept curled around the spar that ran through the room, a conduit between the sky and the ground, and let its familiar tremors soothe her. Yoda making things up. But shut up, Yoda. Oh, that's so nice. Like Zenny would defend me. Thank you, Lucky Leo. That's nice. Yeah, I am grimacing in pain. You missed the beginning. I've been having a stiff neck, and yeah, my upper neck's been, my neck and my shoulders have been a bit stiff the past 2 days. So yeah, I occasionally get little twinges of pain, but I'm okay. I was not hit by anyone. You know, I'm not the type of person to cut anyone in line. I know most people don't like me at all, Yoda. Most people don't like anyone. I don't know that I need to see the chiropractor. I told you all what I think it was. I think I'm just having a reaction. I should be fine shortly. I don't need to go get it sorted out. God, yeah. I did buy some of that Thai liniment stuff, but I can't open it. I need to ask one of my friends to open it. The bottle, it's like too tight. I can't get it off even with like gloves on. I can't do it. So I need to ask someone to do it. I keep forgetting about it when I have like a guest over. Adjustments feel good, but most chiropractors won't work with somebody who has rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, I haven't looked into it. Maybe I could find a practitioner who would work with me, but most of them won't. And that's not really my issue, you know? Shake well before application. You know what though? I do have like some plasters. I might put a pain plaster on my neck tonight when I go to bed. I have one of those like Chinese medicinal plasters that smell really, herbally and burn and feel really good. So I think I'll put one of those on my neck tonight. Oof, yeah. Okay, let's continue. I think I can get through another chapter, or at least try. How y'all feeling? Hi, Nikki. Hi, Stacy. And thanks for praying over me. Yeah, if y'all want to lift holy hands and pray over me, that's cool. Please do. Zenny, that's cute. Zenny is, yeah. I do have to visit them sometime. It would be nice. You want to share a milkshake with me? Why don't you just get me my own milkshake and you have yours? I mean, oh my God, imagine me meeting all the boys. Wouldn't that be exciting? And how bad would they like pretend that they weren't excited to see me like as well? It just, yeah. Oh God, y'all. Y'all, ugh. Okay, the cold woke her. It snuffled under the blankets and in between her clothes, nagging at her skin. Get up. She moved as quietly as she could, quickly enough to pump some blood into her numbed toes, but slowly enough not to wake her father. 2 sticks of firewood and no breakfast. She'd leave the last of the bread for Lonan's lunch, but that was all there was until she returned. She used the wood to boil some water. It took forever in the cold, so she sat on the step and looked out over birdland while she waited. The huge dome of nets stretched away across the marshes over 600 feet, larger than St. Paul's Church. As the Aviscultans liked to boast, even in her doorway far from the center, Shay could hear its dawn chorus washing the air clean. She sat for longer than usual, letting it sweep across her. The chorus rolled and tumbled like surf, with song overriding song until it became one voice, one containing all containing one. How could city folk be content with their church bells and dirges while this sweet chittering anarchy was loose in the air every morning? I don't know. I've lived in places where the birds are really annoying in the early morning. Like you can't sleep in just because they won't shut the hell up. They're just doves. When I lived in Yuma, y'all, the frickin' doves drove me insane. Sunny. Freshly brewed coffee. Nice. Do they have coffee? Good. Hi, Josh. Good to see you. Yoda, come on. Don't be nasty. Okay. I'm the only person you know who reads books. What? How could that possibly be? I need a call line. I am planning to have a live stream tomorrow evening where I'll post a link if anybody wants to join. So tomorrow evening time, we'll have an open chat. See if anybody wants to join. Dang, he really called me out like that. Oh, Tomas is a reader as well as Vicky. Nice. I don't read like I used to. I used to read so many books. Like, it's amazing to me how few books I get through each year. It seems like it's less. So I appreciate doing these streams and just, facilitating chats, but also like getting through another book. Holding a clipboard and adjusting his hair. What was I saying? I don't remember. I don't remember what I said. Was it funny? You said I was being funny. I troll everybody, you know. I don't remember. Maybe I did say more white guilt during the JLP show. I don't remember what I was saying that about. So what's the plan, Terry? Y'all are crazy. It's currently 85 degrees. It was in the 90s today. Apparently. They see me rolling. They hating. That's right. Boom. I don't see how that was trolling Negroes. How was that? Yeah. Well, he was being like really rude. I don't know what his problem was. Like, first he called in and was talking ish about me. I called back. He called me a liar. Right? He called me a liar. Then I call in to be like, what did I lie about? I don't know. I still don't know what I supposedly lied about. Then he called in and like just from what I could infer from what he was saying, not only did he make fun of my laugh, which is fine, but he implied that I'm being paid or something to troll the chat or something. I don't even know, like really odd. Then he made fun of me not having children and having a cat, I suppose, which is like, whatever. I don't know. It was lame. I was born ready, Joelle, she said. But hey, you got any dance moves to share with me? Joelle's eyes lit up. I was hoping you'd ask. Let me show you something simple. You can totally do it. People make fun of my laugh all the time. I have a couple different laughs though as well, but yeah, Hake usually has me chuckling like like I'm sucking in the air. I can't help it, you know. I'm nervous talking to him. It's Hake, for God's sake, the man with the good hair. What am I to do? I'm nervous. Jeez. And sometimes I also am just laughing because I find myself funny because I am like not only in an amusing as a character type of way, you know, but also just I make jokes and they're funny. So I don't know. As Joel started breaking down some moves, Jesse jumped in, trying his hands at the steps, but inevitably turning them into something more akin to a dad dance. Nick and James watched from the sidelines, exchanging amused glances. We have another new guy. You think I'm funny? Thank you. Thank you. I am. I'm funny. She recovers quickly. I know. I don't know. Hake was mad at me for like continuing it. Because yeah, I probably shouldn't have like done a super chat about it. But I was like shocked when he like called in and was saying all that stuff. I was just like, why is he like so angry at me? Like, what did I say that got him so pissed? I don't know. The light-hearted atmosphere filled the room. Jesse, always want to stir the pot. Turn to Terri. So, Terri, what's your take on the silent prayer? You ever try it? Terri raised an eyebrow, trying not to laugh. I'm more of a yell at the universe kind of girl. Zenny, really? She said, but maybe if I could give it a try, if you can handle the quiet. I mean, yeah, but also, I don't know. I think Jesse came in and like said something to him, like when Hayden was on the call and he like had to like cut him off quickly because he was saying stuff and I was wondering what he was about to say, honestly. Like when I listened to it again, I was like, wait, what was he saying about me? Because I knew he was being insulting about me. He said multiple things about me and it just kept continuing. But like, yeah, he was kind of, I was like, what is he going to say? And I was worried he was going to like maybe like shout out my channel or something. And I'm not trying to do that like at all, you know. I know a lot of people from, you know, I know a lot of people from that universe realm, whatever, have like started watching my videos, and that's cool. But like, you know, I'm just trolling there genuinely. I'm enjoying the content and just enjoying watching what it provokes in me and responding to it. Like I have no agenda really, like at all. And I don't know, like I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get him at first either, Stacy, but then I got him. Like yeah, it took me a while to warm up to him, but like cuz he was like the last one I really kind of watched it all. All right, so let's continue this little story. Jesse's booming laugh echoed through the headquarters. That's all right. We'll get you right, devil woman. Dang. They all spent the rest of the afternoon sharing stories, laughing, and even debating, but always with good spirits. Despite their differences, the camaraderie was undeniable. Terri couldn't help think how strange and yet fitting it was that she was here in the heart of Bond headquarters, surrounded by some of the most outspoken personalities on the internet. As the sun began to set, Terri wheeled herself toward the exit, a smile still on her face. Thanks for the invite, guys. You're all crazier than I thought, in the best way, she said, waving goodbye. This is ridiculous, Zenny. Good God. Jesse leaned on the door frame, grinning. You're all right, Terri. Come back anytime. She black. Just make sure you bring your dancing shoes next time. Joel called out, still hyped from his impromptu dance lesson. Terri rolled out into the LA sunset, shaking her head in disbelief. Who would have thought? A strange day, indeed. As he should, as a Christian should. Point fire. Goodness. I hate y'all. Stop it. Stop. I don't need that mess. Y'all really think I'm some kind of corny, like Zenny, you think I'm some kind of corny little one-dimensional Pacific Northwestern liberal or something. I don't know. Like what? Hello to Galahad. Who else is in here? Point Fire, Santino, we said hello to, as well as Modern Gentleman, Nikki. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here. let's get back to the little story, okay? That was a great interlude, Zenny. You put in your story, and AI wrote that story. You had me read out an AI story, Zenny. Gosh. Ooh. Okay, let's continue. A whack on her behind. Stop letting the warmth out. Lonan's voice was clouded with sleep. He turned back into the room and she watched him move automatically around the space. How typically dad. Anybody else's dad get mad when you let the heat out or something? I know. When I travel, people always ask me about Portland. I'm always just like, whatever. It's like, oh, thank you, Nikki. You like me? You really like me? Okay. Shout out to dads getting mad about you letting the heat out. Oh, I'm sure he was cold all night. God, just imagine it being winter and not having any heat. Oh, I mean, God, the thought of it just seeping into your bones is so painful. Mornings were usually the worst. His past inundated him as he slept. Shay imagined memories falling like rain into his dreams. She saw vast sheets of the past tear from the sky and sweep his bed out into a sea of remembrance. Sometimes he woke and didn't know where he was, as if his bed had washed up on some mountaintop. Those days were the worst. The pair lived 20 feet in the air, and Lonan's bones were as brittle as a sparrow's. Shay would talk and talk with his hand in hers, thumb stroking his palm as she spoke their life back into existence, putting names to the formless things that eluded him. Shay, birdland, the nets, kettle, stove, over and over until the night's fog had burned away. He fell back into his chair, his mouth opening and closing dumbly as his hands reached for something only he could see. Shay knelt to stroke the back of his hand, making little sparrow calls to scare away the night's terrors. He gaped and shook and then calmed. A weak hand reached around her wrist. His skin was as soft as dock leaves now. It's all right, Father. It's Shay, your daughter, Ava's daughter. A flash of sunlight raced across his face at the mention of Ava's name. It's Shay, listen. I know I'd stay home. I said I'd stay home this week, but some work has come up in the city. She dared not mention the theater, but there was a white lie that she had been saving for a day like this. I thought this might be the time to go and tend to Lord Eltham's falcon. Divana, remember her? Remember the weeks we spent training her? The unconscious eloquence of his face betrayed him. Everything fell like a sack of grain dumped on the wharf side. His words were neutral, though. If you think that's wise. After some tea, he was more alert, mischievous even. He sat on the edge of the bed and fumbled for his sunflower seeds. Casually, he flicked a couple in the air and caught them in his mouth like a gull. It was a trick from the days before his eyes clouded. She shook her head at him pointlessly and was halfway to asking if there was any jam left when she stopped. If there were, then he would have offered. He sipped at his tea and his blank eyes flitted back and forth. She didn't want to leave while he was still halfway between worlds. So she coaxed his infuriating limbs into his clothes, and he sat up a little straighter. His face's weather brightened. Divana, that falcon, now there's a bird. There's a bird. I saw her take a fawn once, easy as picking up this cup. He lifted his mug and tea slopped over one side. Shay said, I know. I sometimes see her above the royal hunting grounds, and she's looking strong. It's been a while since I was there, so I thought it was time to polish up her hood and gyres, maybe mend a feather or two. Not much of a lie. She would have to go to Lord Eltham's soon enough, and unspoken was the fee. A sovereign every 3 months was a fortune these days. Um, I don't think they had tea in London in 1601. I don't think they were drinking tea yet at that time. From what I understand, it wasn't commonly drank. What's going on? Zenny, the new Millie Vanilli. Oh, good one, Zenny. Zenny's almost at 700 subs. Go sub to Zenny if you haven't, guys. Getting to 700 tonight. I can't follow. Anyway, interesting chat, y'all. I don't know what y'all are talking about, though. I'll take you in. There's no ice today. He put the tea down with a bump and levered himself surprisingly nimbly out of his chair. His clothes were askew, and Shay looked away. White skin, white hair, white eyes. No, it came out louder than she wanted. Lord Eltham might not see me for a day or two, and it's up 4 flights of stairs. He nodded seriously. All right, I suppose. You can handle it, love. A hiccup of joy rose in her. When had he last called her love? She guided him back into his chair, chirruping softly. Chirruping. Does anybody chirrup with their family, loved ones, pets? I definitely chirrup with Nero. Zenny's book was better than this one. Thanks, Maina. I don't give an F what you think. All right, let's continue. You can handle it. You know what to do. His eyes were on the ceiling, and he gripped the chair's arms. Then he sat upright. Of course, really, the girl should do it, but I don't know what to do with her, Ava. She doesn't have the patience. She turns up late, she mumbles her way through the murmuration, and then she disappears off to the city for days at a time. Birds know where she goes. Instead of God knows where she goes, birds know where she goes. Were these real people? Like, what do you think? Were there some like group of like weird bird worshippers that lived outside of like London and different places? I mean, it's plausible. The birds are gods. It's weird. It's a weird theme. I'm finding it weird to like confront. I guess I definitely used to idolize birds a bit in my pagan times. It is odd, you know. It is odd to kind of think about. I do find them fascinating. I did enjoy watching them, but you know, applying something mystical when it's just part of God's creation, it's odd to me to like worship birds of all things. Nice. Hey, Zenny's up. Zenny reached the goal, y'all. Good night, Galahad. Oh my goodness. Okay. The commies are trying to change the name of birds because they're racist. What birds have racist names? Is this going to be some kind of joke where you make up some like funny racist names for birds, or are there actually birds with racist names? Now we're getting into the birds aren't real discussion. Good God. Okay. Even in the cold, Shay's cheeks burned. Lonan sipped at his tea and made a face. I don't know what we'll do with her. He moved his head like a bird's, trying to sniff her out. Ava, Ava, my love, are you still there? Silently, Shay climbed down the ladder. God, that sounds terrible. Sounds like her father's like somewhat losing his mind a bit as well. And that must be painful too, to like miss your own mother and to have your father kind of behaving in such a way. Most of Birdland was up and awake. Leaden smoke rose from chimneys and ladders were down beneath every doorway. The nets were thick with frost and they gleamed like a filigreed bowl thrown over the marsh. So they live in the marsh. They live in marshland. I was trying to picture their houses, so they must have lived in houses on stilts. Has anyone ever seen houses on stilts? There were like parts of Alaska where houses have to be built on stilts because of the permafrost. I should pull them up. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, I know other people build houses on stilts in different cultures, but let's see. So I'm imagining they have some kind of like huts that they're living in that are on stilts. Let's see. Okay, so here we'll have some pictures. We'll do a little presentation. Now, we didn't have this where I lived because the permafrost isn't an issue in Anchorage or like kind of southern Alaska where I lived. But yeah, once you hit, I don't remember the exact point, but there's a point where you can't build. And it's just the Arctic generally. I think the Arctic is just like this in various places. But yeah, stilt houses. So they put these houses on stilts. They dig deep into the permafrost. So it's interesting. Oh, this is Ketchikan South. Ketchikan's really beautiful because it does have those kind of like houses on the water. Old timber house. Okay, so here's Barrow, Alaska, for example. Now, how you would make this accessible, I don't know. I guess you could have a ramp, a really big ramp, maybe one that kind of like circles around. Okay, yeah, they have them all over the world. So I'm imagining like, yeah. I know I've seen like two in Cambodia. They've had like stilt houses as well. So different places have them. But yeah, these are kind of, I just think they're kind of cool. Yukavok, Yukavok Island, the ghost village on stilts. Ooh, spooky. Okay, some more stilts. So yeah. Oh, here we go. So yeah, if you're in unstable earth underneath, then you have to build on stilts to have the stability. So it sounds like they have like, oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, there's places like this. I've been in little cabins like this where you have to climb up. You have to climb up into them and they're to basically keep the bears out. So in like certain parts of the country, you have to be mindful of bears. So especially like like if you're a subsistence hunter or something like that. So they'll have like these cabins out in the country, you know, and they have them in other places, like just because they're an Alaskan thing. But yeah, they have these really incredible little cabins on stilts, and then there's a ladder that you pull in so nothing can get in, you know, and get you. You'll buy that for $1. This is not my Etsy, and it's being sold for $42, which is not surprising to me. It's like a plate, kind of a cute, like one of those decorative plates that you, or not you, but some people hang on walls. Yeah, anyway, nice little trip down memory lane. I love sometimes when I'm reading these stories, what it provokes in me or what it brings out. So, okay. But yeah, they're tiny little cabins, cute little stilt houses. See if there's any others worth sharing. Okay, there's a stilt house collection. Let's go. Let's check it out. Rude. Okay. Okay, let's check this out. This looks interesting. A Norwegian fishing town of Petersburg, Southeast Alaska. Okay, interesting. Peggy's Cove. This is in Nova Scotia. Okay, oh, neat. Wow. Beautiful houses. Okay. Okay, I've seen these like, yeah, overwater bungalows in French Polynesia. That must be so interesting to sleep in one of those. I bet it would be really relaxing to be over the water like that. Most of the time. I mean, sometimes not. Any other places I want to see? Chile. Here's some stilt houses in Chile. Very cute. I like the different colors. And they're over the water as well. Interesting to live over the water. I always thought it would be cool to like have a houseboat or a house on the water or over the water. A Bashkir woman in folk costume, 1910. Bashkir. And she's in a stilt house. What an interesting costume she has. She's wearing pants. Okay, feminism, nice. So yeah, I assume that like the Russians, I don't know who must have started it. That's interesting culture anyway. Yeah, okay, that's enough. Let's get back to the cute till it tips over in the water. Yeah, that would not be so cute. I would not enjoy that. Yeah, she was a babushka, a Bashkir woman. Luckily, we are definitely not married, oh my. I don't have a ring. You're not paying any of my bills. I don't know. I have to do better than that. You know, I didn't even put my banner up. Irish wedding rolls. Oh dear. I'm an American now. I didn't come to this country, so I would just be Irish. I'm an American woman now. I go by American standards. I'm white now. I'm an American. I'm a white American now, okay? You're not going to take that from me. And I do things in the American way, for better and worse, because I'm a patriot. Thank you. She's white. I'm not going to be. We earned our whiteness. Dang it. We've we've struggled for it. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's see. Yeah. The nets were thick with frost, and they gleamed like a filigreed bowl thrown out over the marsh. Two boys with rods over their shoulders picked their way towards the river, pretending to push each other off the path. Someone was up, undoing the nets already. Shay waved and recognized Calm from his sweep of arm. She took the rope bridge across the nets. Its sway was as familiar as a song, and she strolled through the morning light in the air, but not of it. The nets spread for half a mile, encasing Birdland's drab hexagon of marshland. Shay knew them as a part of her, like two hands cupped over her life. At the edges she supports were little more than staffs driven deep into the ground, holding up the finest of the nets, twine knotted into squares too small for even wrens to pass through. But Shay headed for the center, instantly picking up a following of the younger children who pretended their route through hillocks and mud pools only coincidentally followed directly beneath Shay. Some mornings she'd slow until the fledglings milled around her for the rest of the journey. But today she was in a hurry. Near the center, the supports grew from saplings to masts, angled away from the middle. Their tops were holed and grooved to allow the thicker ropes to pass through. A spider's web with hexagons of rope thicker than your arm encasing smaller hexagons, each one patterned with thin nets. And birds, everywhere birds. The sound hit you at first. Vast waterfalls of birdsong, overspilling like a treasure hoard. On first hearing it was a thick braid of noise, but as your ears grew accustomed, you picked out individual songs. The padded ruffles of wood pigeons and the stream of wren song. Sparrows bickering across the music box tunes of the great tit. Blackbirds moaned, blackbirds, racist, moaned, and there was something human to their tone, as if they might break into speech if they so wanted. There were complex helices of melody, surely too ornate for one delicate throat to produce. Cheeps and burbles, warlike caws, lovers' coos, flutters and warbles, flutes, whole orchestras of them, bassoons, hand drums, and viola screech. It's viola, isn't it? And then, when the air was too full, bursting with song, you raised your eyes to see a sky seething with birds, unconstrained by human patterns. Their paths were crazy, crazed, cracked. Shay threw her shoulders back, inhaled, and let it envelop her. Everything was airborne, and nothing had any weight. She gazed up at the kingdom, the automatic writing of birds' paths, the avian orchestra tuning up the sky alive. Behind her, the gaggle of children did the same. She hung fat balls as she went and scattered seed into the upturned seashells that protruded from every tree trunk. Bacon rashers and Thames lugworms and scrapes and seeds, anything they could scavenge from that wasteful, extravagant city upstream or dig up on their own doorstep. For the first time that day, she threw off the spell of the theater and properly looked around her. She gestured down at the children on the ground below. "Sing for me," she said. Faces gazed up, expectant but closed mouth. She mocked a sigh. "I have to do everything myself, do I? All right, I see. Where to start? A history song, perhaps? one that even the little ones would know. She aimed her voice downward towards them and started to sing. We wandered from the Eastlands, no home of our own. Instantly the fledglings echoed her. From the east, banished and harried and ever wind-blown. She raised her flattened palm to her mouth, and the children, giggling, did the same. They blew imaginary seeds as she sang on. Wind blown like seeds across the land and the sea. The sea, oh, the sea, sang the children. But then came the falcon to guide us safely. The children raised their arms to the heavens. Where birds go, we follow, we sleep where they roost, and honor with shelter, protection, and food. Some of the younger fledgling mimed birds pecking at grain. Their flights are our footpaths, their songs are our words. The birds are our gods. And she let the fledgling shout out the last line like the answer to a question at school. The gods are birds. I've never heard this song, y'all, so I hope you liked my rendition of the song I've never heard before. How interesting. It's part of their lore as a people. So they come from the East. So they're not Western European, these Aviscultan peoples. And they follow the falcon to these lands, and I do feel like that a bit. I do feel like that a bit sometimes, you know? Oh, you want to get on my lap, don't you, sweetie? I'm not in my normal chair, am I? I'm not in my normal chair. You can't just leap up here, can you? That's not fair. Oh my goodness, that's not fair. That's not fair. He just wants a little attention. That's not fair. Hey. All right. I'll move this, and then you can kind of jump up here. You want up here? Come on. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on, Giddy. Wish you know you want it. Come on. Come on. You don't like my singing? Was that it? Come on. Come on. You can do it. No, don't dig your claws into my shorts. Come on. Up. Come on. Up. Do it. You got this. You can do it. Come on. Yeah, there he is. That's a good kitty. That's a good kitty. Wow, he did that. He did that. It's a beautiful day. I just know she makes a banging mac and cheese. I don't know. I don't know that my mac and cheese is that good. I've never really tried, to be honest. I'm sure if I actually took the effort to make a bomb mac and cheese, I could. I definitely make some good pasta dishes. I do not do it vegan style. Good God. No, stop. We disavow veganism. How many times do I have to come on here and rag on veganism to get the respect I deserve? No, we're going to have real stuff in it. I mean, I'm imagining I'd, get a few different kinds of cheese. I know I haven't been called Hot Wheels in a while. Hot Wheels on my Mad Max scooter. It's really inconspicuous. It's not that flashy. It's a little flashy, because I'm on it, but you're so good. Maybe she is Italian. Me? I do have some Italian heritage. My mother's father was Italian. So, yeah, half of your family is vegan. How interesting. I'm ethnically ambiguous, apparently. People say I look like all kinds of things. How exciting. That means I have broad appeal. That's a good thing. I learned about that from America's Next Top Model. Tyra would tell women they were ethnically ambiguous, which means like girls of multiple races could look at her and identify with her, which means she could work in multiple markets really well. And basically it means you could uh, work, in different countries or for different groups of people. So excited. I look like an Italian meatball. Goodness. You look of the elven raid. Yeah, I probably do a bit. You're probably right about that. I did, you know what? I ordered some meatball. I have some meatballs that I got this week. They're in the freezer. I'm not sure what I want to do with them. I wasn't sure if I wanted to and it's been hot, so I haven't want to cook it. But you can only claim Irish. I mean, yeah, I do. When people ask specifically, that's always the default. It's the greatest amount of what I am is Irish. So, yeah. It wins by that alone. And also, Irish are pretty dominant. Although I have to say, the Tazi genes are strong. They're very strong. I look of the elven race. Interesting. Well, I am Irish, so there's not, there might be something to that. Oh, so good kitty. Oh, so kitty. Oh, so good. How many pints of Guinness can I drink? I don't even think I could manage a pint of Guinness. I've managed them before in the past. It takes all night though to manage a pint of Guinness. But Irish have blue eyes. You have those dark, evil Italian eyes. That's not true. There's the black Irish that have dark eyes and dark hair. My mother has dark eyes, and as did my father. My father's black Irish. My mother's not, but so I think her, brown eyes. But I don't know. Her brothers and sisters were half and half. Half got blue eyes, half got brown eyes. And then with my father's siblings, I'm trying to think. With his direct siblings, his brothers, they all had dark eyes. Actually. Did you forgive your parents for being Irish? I can't forgive them for that. I cannot forgive them for that. Forgive my parents for being Irish. That's hurtful. Why are you saying that? We're lovely people. Yeah, we're a bit, messy, but we really are so innocent. Innocent and mischievous at the same time. Innocently evil. Dark-eyed people, I don't know about them. I don't know about blue-eyed people. I don't believe a thing somebody with blue eyes says. I just don't. You look into those blue eyes and it's just yeah, right. Anyone agree? Let me press 1 if you know what I mean. Do you have that instant reaction to the blue-eyed people? You're like, what kind of BS is this person on? Press 2 if you disagree. But yeah, I don't know. Those blue eyes, I don't know. Golden Rule says sounds about right. I mean, they're beautiful, but because they're so beautiful, they, could do something to you. But my eyes are beautiful. You say I have those devilish eyes, as if they're not, enchanting. I don't know, too. He was talking about something else. Stacy brought up the song A Pair of Brown Eyes. I do love that song. And Van Morrison also had his brown-eyed girl, okay? Irish kings here repping their love for the brown-eyed women, okay? You like hazelnut eyes? I like cashew eyes. All right, enough. Oh, the kitty came over and we got all loosey-goosey because the kitty came over. I miss you. You wasn't with me all day. We were separated. Okay, you was with me a little bit, but he was, yeah. I know, those Irish accents. They're so sweet. They sound so I don't know, again, innocent. Almond-shaped eyes. Do you think my eyes are almond-shaped? Isn't that Asian? I like cash me in eyes instead of cash me outside. You're so pretty. Oh my God. Look at you. You love this. You eating it up. Oh my goodness. He's eating it up right now, y'all. People with Downs. Oh, I love the Downs children and the Downs adults. Well, I think I don't know, people are being so awful. They're saying things that aren't true, spreading misinformation about what causes Down syndrome. And I was like, man, you know what? And they're also you shouldn't have a baby after 35 because you're geriatric and that you're, going to have a Downs baby. And I was just I've known multiple women who are, in their late 30s, in their 40s, who've had kids, and none of them had Down syndrome. And the people I know who had Down syndrome, their parents weren't older when they had them. You know what I mean? So I think it's more complicated than just that. But anyway, you were trying to get me worked up. I was worked up enough. I didn't need to be further worked up. That was some just awful, awful, hurtful. There are places I can't get into. I was flippant. Be careful teasing, Terry. That got me on the S word list. Oh my goodness. I was flippant. I was flipping out. You getting your hairs all over my face. It's itching. What are you doing? You're so perfect. Look at you. You're so perfect. Yes. You're so good. I can handle a little roasting. Sometimes I get emotional. Sometimes people think I'm trolling when I'm not as well, which upsets me. Is that your little thrill, Matthew? You got to tick me off? He's like, yeah, I caused a woman to react. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. It's kind of hot still, honey. Can you get off of me now? Can you get off of me now? It's kind of hot still. It's kind of hot still. Please. Please get off of me now. Can we? I love you. I love you, little dude. Okay. I love you, little dude. Come on. No. I don't want to cuddle no more. It's hot. It's hot. Oh, God. Ugh. What are we clipping? Oh, God, Yoda. Why are y'all? Can we not? Can we please not? Can we please not talk about Taylor Swift right now? You all know how I feel about her. I'd rather not have to get into defending her and turn the light over a bit here. I really don't want to get into having to defend Taylor Swift tonight. God, ow. Look, I think she's a complex artist, obviously. She's obviously Illuminati. We know this about her. But apart from that, I enjoy some of her songs. She's got some bangers, okay? She's a pretty decent songwriter. She makes perfect pop music. She has some immaculate pop songs. I like that, most of them aren't, they're just not very raunchy, which I appreciate, in modern music. It's suitable and likable to young girls. But anyway, there's a lot about her that I don't like as well, but I'm not going to sit up here and just degrade her as an artist and a talent, because I don't think that's appropriate. And I think she's an interesting person to observe, regardless how she's handled her career as well. And her public image is interesting. Stop it, Yoda. Stop it. And stop egging him on, Maina. Stop it. I don't want to listen to an 8-year-old girl unless she's literally on the UN payroll to spread BS. Okay, I don't know what she's doing with the UN. I miss that. I can't know everything about Taylor Swift, you guys. I really can't. I don't like that word, Yoda. Please don't use that word. Don't put feminist and Nazi together into the feminazi term. I don't like that term. That's hateful. That's hate speech, and I don't want it on my channel. The Nazis killed feminists, okay? Come on. I don't like the equation of the two. I don't like fascists. Don't be a P word. You don't be a P word. What are you talking about? Don't try to bully me. You're not my boss. It's my channel, Yoda. Know your place. You're not even modded on that account. So stop it. Talking at me some kind of way. Okay, so we read this song. Shay could see calm smile, even though he was a level above her. As the children collapsed in laughter, he shouted down to her, "Come and see me before you leave." She walked the rope bridges, feeling clumsy along the whirl of wings. Sparrows darted around her eyes on her pail of food. Children's laughter and bird song. It wiped away the morning's fog. Colm waited at the very top of the nets for Shay to finish her rounds. His face turned up to catch the light. He had a stillness to him that Shay had only ever seen with Abiscoltans. A sparrow landed happily on his arm, pecked experimentally at some seed dust, worried at a tail feather, and then flew off. He didn't notice. Still looking skywards, he asked, "Busy day yesterday?" 6 bells, some problems with the crossing. She hadn't thought of it since. Those black eyes and a boot on her hand, the blitheness of it. Lonan picked you up. A statement, but waited. Yes, he likes to. Says he can't sleep otherwise. Colm was her father's age. He sleeps fine, Shay, you know that. She said nothing. She started to untie the top knot at the very apex of the nets. Usually Colm hardly spoke, so this breaking of his silence meant something. It's too much to ask of him, Shay. He didn't look at her. I don't ask. Shay could hear the edge of whine in her own voice. You know what I mean. You're not a child anymore. Doing nothing is doing something. What do you suggest? That I tell him not to come? He would turn up anyway, or he'd forget that I told him not to. Not if you said that you had a ride arranged, not if you borrowed his swan boat, not if you told him you were staying in the city. He untwisted a tie. There are 100 ways, Shay, and I shouldn't have to tell you that. He hauled back the top net, lifting it over the struts to frame a perfect hexagon of sky. Birdland was open to the heavens. A couple of nearby pigeons flew out and perched on the ropes. Colm scattered seed around the entrance and talked seemingly to the birds. We need you here. That's every day this week. You've been in the city. It can't only be us old men running things. He gestured at the gaggle of fledglings. Shay saw the girl with the goshawk tattoo and waved. All the children waved back. Colm said, We're losing too many fledglings to the city. They don't follow me like they do with you. They won't help out with Ellis or Crow or any of them. He was quiet, but Shay knew there was more, and still some ticking part of her mind was calculating how soon the long ferry might arrive. And what about the next time there's a murmuration? The fact that he had to ask showed that he doubted her, and it made Shay ache. I'll make sure I get word of it. I will be here. But here to lead us? Not just among us? Shay nodded. She sensed that he wasn't convinced, but Colm wasn't a man for arguments. They sat and watched the nets for a while, gulls left, drawn away by the heat and the river smell. Pigeons arrived for easy pickings. 2 finches loitered around the entrance, in and out, as if unsure of their plans. Time stood still until city bells rang again, a pretty sound at this distance, and wordlessly the pair of them hauled the top net closed. The fledglings had headed on to their lessons, and Shay climbed down through the heedless birds to the path to the jetty. The marsh was flat and open with a horizon like a freehand pencil line. Shay was the tallest thing for furlongs, at least until the mast of the long ferry appeared, right on time, cleaving the last of the mist. As she walked, guilt and relief marched in lockstep alongside her. Lonan needed a village of care. He needed a cook, a seer, a provider, a priest, a nursemaid. And most troublingly now that the cards of his memory were so thoroughly shuffled, a wife. The only roles that Shay knew how to play were useless to him. She was daughter, messenger, roof runner, thief. Here, in their little room in the fog, she was nothing. Interesting, she's torn between the worlds, isn't she? What's going on? You're not don't talk about Fred Durst in my chat. Trying to catch up with y'all. Okay, Miss Angelina. Golden Rule TV is really repping this young woman. He wants us all to listen to her. It's not about unison, although that does put me off a bit. Oh, Matthew. Matthew's just trying to make me cringe here. You know I don't like them, right? You know that like their music is just, oh God. And the fact is, like, they're still popular. Like, the youth are into this band from my youth that I hated, and they just continue, like, to be listened to. And I'm like, what's going on? It's awful music. You know, they had beef with Placebo. I'm sure I've mentioned this before on stream, but you know, whatever. Most people repeat themselves. That was the funniest music beef I ever heard of, was Placebo versus Limp Bizkit. I mean, what? But it's true. They had like beef for years. They had like rap beef. I guess they had an altercation at Woodstock 99. Did you have a good day at work? Some good masculine, manly music to keep you going? I listened to some girly music today while I was working. Is she reading from the Bible? Pretty much. Oh, wow. Oh, God. They're actually, yeah, they're amazing. Well, I'm a girl. I don't want to listen to something that's like awful like that. I'm a woman. Why would I want to listen to something so like violent? I'd rather have something that's more feminine and seductive sounding, something kind of sweet and pretty. That's what girls like. I'm not into that stuff. I really don't like a lot of hard rocky music. Even like, I mean, there's some stuff I guess I do like a bit, but even then, like, you probably would find it feminine compared to like that kind of stuff. I don't. Okay, so let's see. I think we'll stop there. I don't think I should continue reading just because it is late. I've been on for 2 hours and I don't want to be streaming all night. I'll probably hang out a little bit longer. Do I still have any? Finish drinking my little drink, my little sparkling water with lemonade. But yeah, that was interesting. So it sounds like her father's ailing in health, mentally, physically. Her community, she's been this like divination tool, like this oracle. Yeah, this oracle for her community of bird worshippers. And it sounds like their way of life is kind of crumbling, and they're already planning to replace her with this little girl, it sounds like. Y'all are so mean. I like Matthew's new picture. It's like edgy. He looks like, kind of, I don't know. It's different. Don't listen, Matthew. I like your new pick. Your last pick, it was, this one's good. It's good. Excuse me. He looks like a stoned prisoner. Well, he wouldn't be the only person being tortured. Goodness, Stacy. And what's your picture of? Not you. Why don't you put a picture up of yourself? Looks like a serial killer. It's post mowing the grass. Good for you, Matthew. Someone has to mow the grass. I used to mow the grass when we had this God, what are they called? Like mechanical ones that you push. So that was the one we had, but my dad got a electric one, and then it was over. I never got to mow the grass again. It's like he enjoyed doing it too. He liked going out there and mowing the grass. But I always liked when the grass was a little bit grown out, because freshly cut grass isn't as comfy to sit down on or to lay on as like grass that's a little bit longer, more flush, I did have a nice yard growing up. I was very blessed, I think about it. I was like a tortured child, like all angsty and stuff. But, I look back, I'm like, I did have a lot of things that other people didn't have. So I was lucky in many ways. No one will mow the grass themselves in future. Wow. I don't know. I liked pushing that like weird bladed thing around the yard. It was fun. But the thing about it is you had to rake up the grass afterwards. And I usually didn't have energy to like do both in the same day. So, but yeah, the electric one, it just was so cool because it sucked everything up. So we didn't have to rake the yard afterwards. We could just empty out like this bag. It was like a cutting vacuum for your for your yard. People will be less gung-ho about immigration, which once automation really kicks in. Interesting. My grandfather just turned off his hearing aids. I've known old men who do that. Like they don't put it in or they don't wear it just because they don't want to bother. You have to like get up real close to them and yell at them to tell them anything. It's their business. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's really practical. I don't think a yard is practical to have you can't really have a nicely curated yard without human hands being involved. Like, how are you going to automate that? I don't think gardening's going anywhere. I mean, certain tasks that gardeners do would be going somewhere, but I don't think, I mean, maybe you're right to an extent. Your grandparents were the best ever. Geez, Mana, have a good night or day, whatever you're doing. We'll see you again. Lawn mowing and hedge clipping can be fully automated. Okay. So that may put some people out of business. I know. Mana's cranky sometimes. I don't know what her problem is. She says she loves me, but I think it's that kind of Christian love where she loves me, but she doesn't like me. Oh, I don't think she's Christian. Oh, you mean the old man turning his ear off thing? God, we really went off on you, didn't we then? I'm so sorry, Maina. Maina just got savaged. I apologize. Maina. God, I've never seen Working Girl. I'm Sigourney Weaver's character in Working Girl. Oh God, what is this movie? I can't believe I've never seen Working Girl. I mean, that's me, Working Girl. Working Girl. Oh, to be the working girl. Man, yeah, work has been tough lately, guys. I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting through it somehow. I'm getting a lot done, but it's never like, it's that time of year, I guess. Okay, so oh my God, it has Melanie Griffith and shut up, Joan Cusack, Harrison Ford, meh. I love Melanie Griffith. So Sigourney Weaver, Melanie Griffith, and Joan Cusack's in it. So I have to see this. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. I'm going to share this with you guys. Give me a sec. Sharing the screen, Working Girl. Come on, this is me. This is like me being my best 80s girl boss. Okay, I love her outfit here. This is gorgeous. Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. I think there might be a block on streaming IMDb. So that was from IMDb. I can't open that. Okay, well, anyway. Very interesting. The Cusacks weren't everything back then. Interesting thing, most people are like, so many people are blocked by John Cusack. It's unfunny. There was this, I mean, I found out I was blocked by John Cusack. I don't remember why, but it was this, okay, there was this article, right, that came out about how many people he had blocked. And a lot of people were finding that he had them blocked, and it was I don't know why, like I don't know how it all coalesced that people found this out, but yeah, he had me blocked too, I guess. Do I have Amazon Prime? I do, but I haven't been using it. So I was having issues with getting it to operate. Yeah, they were both in high fidelity. They were also both in, God, what was that commie movie I loved as a kid? The Cradle Will Rock. Cradle Will Rock. I love that movie. It has everybody in it. Like Tenacious D is in it, Bill Murray. Let's see. Carrie Yules is in it. Frank Azaria's in it. Shoot, who else? Come on, Terry. Joan Cusack's in it. John Cusack's in it. Susan Sarandon's in it. Like, I haven't been watching movies lately. I've like really not been watching any movies. Like, not since like I was having Prime issues. I haven't. No, Tenacious D's in it. They're both in it. Cradle Will Rock, Van Halen classic. Thinking of the movie, I do like Grosse Point Blank. I do, and I love the soundtrack. Okay, Jack Black is a Freemason. What? Oh my God, is he? Oh my God. Okay, I'm loving their hair though. Like, the hair is stunning. Joan Cusack's hair, that is sick. How does she even let them do that to her hair? And her hair, and Melanie Griffith's hair is looking really big here too. Can I make this bigger? Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't seem that I can make the photos bigger. So we'll just not do that then. God, that was horrible. Okay, Sigourney Weaver's in it. I'm liking Sigourney Weaver's blazers, though. This is another stunning blazer. Wow, it's like a tweed blazer. I like the look of that. Should I cut my hair like that, guys? I've been thinking maybe, get kind of a longer bob it at the, the shoulders there. Melanie Griffith should have never had plastic surgery. Oh, I think she still looks pretty good though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't look as, crazy as she could, but yeah. She's I think I love her as an actress. So yeah, this is probably something I could watch. Working Girl. I haven't seen it. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to watch Working Girl. Wow. Looking like Winona Judd. Selena Gomez and 20th Century are developing a remake of Working Girl. Oh, God. How Working Girl changed my career. There's Harrison Ford. I'm loving her outfit here. Dang, that's gorgeous. Let's see if we have a bigger pic here. Okay, we'll share this page. Share this tab. Okay, loving that outfit. These ads are some crazy stuff. Okay, I'm loving that. I love the look of that. Look, the leather gloves, the white, the white blouse, this kind of form-fitting blazer, possible like I would assume skirt suit or maybe pantsuit, and then this like lovely tweed jacket over it. Yo, should I do it? Should I take the plunge? Should I just go like full corporate 80s boss lady? I've wanted to. I mean, look at that. That's stunning. Maybe I should get some like blue light glasses that have like the red frames. I love the look of her hair there. And I love that collar too. That collar is stunning. I love a high collar like that. And then it has the bow tie. And then this like cream colored, like that looks so good. Tell me that don't look amazing. Terri is surely just teasing. She wouldn't cut it off like a psycho. No, but like I've thought about it. I don't really want to though. I'm enjoying my hair being long too much. Like I'm having too much fun with it. And I'm, since I've learned how to take care of it, I really don't want to cut it. I was toying with it though. Like maybe I should get a haircut. I haven't had one in a while. But I'm not into it. Not right now. Matthew says women in suits is such a turnoff. You would be lucky, sir. Look at these fine ass women. Shut your mouth. It's such a turn off. Dude, come on. Oh, dang, that looks good. Love the big hair. Love the jacket. The jacket is, I can't see the whole thing, but what I'm thinking, like, what if that were a crop jacket? What do you guys think? I could totally rock that if that were like a cropped jacket at the waist. High collar, big shoulders. I could do it. I'm liking it. I'm liking this. Yeah, I'd love a jacket like that. I don't really have any like jackets with big shoulders. Like I have a couple of shirts that have shoulder pads or like sweaters that have shoulder pads, but I don't really have like, an actually like imposing big shouldered jacket. I love this. It's fetching. I want something like that. It would look good too, like with my hair pinned up. Oh yeah. Look at we're getting what the fuck? That's gross. I look good in them. They make me look even curvier. So shut up. I don't need your opinion. That's gross. I know I look cute. Sometimes it helps like a garment lay attractively on a woman's body. It's not just there's a science to garments. There's an ornamentation, especially like when you get to dressing up. I cannot. Yeah, I'm silly, but you know, when a woman looks good, you're going to notice. So don't act like you don't appreciate women looking good. Your hair is your beauty, Terry. Don't cut it. It's not my only beauty. It is not my beauty. My beauty come from inside. Okay, that was it. I thought they'd have more pictures than that, but okay. I'm inspired. I'm loving these Melanie Griffith looks in this film. She's going to look awesome. I love Melanie Griffith. Just amazing. Amazing actress. I was so bummed when she and Antonio Banderas split up. That was tough. That was another one that got me like right in the guts. I was like, no. Why couldn't it work? Why? They were just they just had such a beautiful family. I don't know. It upset me. I'm silly and dumb and romantic. Dang, is Sigourney Weaver getting it with, is this something that I'm loving her makeup here. Look at this makeup. That is horrendous. Wow. Look at this makeup. Wow. It's like, wow. She looks good. I mean, I love Joan Cusack. I think she's a stunning woman. Like, is beautiful in everything I've ever seen her in. And she even looks like good in a like grotesque model kind of way here. But man, this makeup is intense. That bowl cut, though. Yoda. I'm glad you overcame the propaganda of looking ugly to ward men off, like Bev said. I looked pretty with my bowl cut. Don't be coming for my bowl cut. I still looked pretty. I still had good bone structure. I'm much lovelier now, of course. But please, all of my incarnations have had their own level of beauty to them, whether it was apparent or not. So please, oh God, I don't need to be insulted here. I just appreciate me. Boys can't even pull off a bowl cut. Of course, a man can't pull off a bowl cut. They're for women. So mean about my bowl cut. My lovely, I hate y'all. Y'all are so mean. It's only disturbing. It's only disturbing when you look at me now and see what I'm capable of looking like. You know, it's only disturbing when you see what's possible and you look at the past and you're like, good God, you know? Oh, man. No, Terry, you being fat with short hair is the opposite of your natural beauty. Like, why? Yeah, well, the fatness, I think, was the worst thing to my beauty. Okay, so her makeup is like red eyeshadow on the outside, this intense blue eyeshadow on the inner, and then in the like, what is this bit? The brow bit, it's a yellow eyeshadow. It's horrendous. It's like something you'd see on a drag queen. I like the lipstick. But yeah, the whole thing of it is pretty crazy, especially with the big hair. I'm like imagining in another life, could I have been this woman? No, we cannot get a shot of Pamela Anderson up. Oh, I love her eyebrows. I miss her 90s eyebrows. Okay, share this tab instead. I like that I can flip from tab to tab. That's a nice feature of this. I'm enjoying using this service. I don't know. We'll see. There's Sigourney Weaver. Let's see, supports Selena Gomez doing a Working Girl reboot. How exciting. Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy the fashion of this movie. Definitely. Let's check this out. Since Pinterest came up, you guys can explore with me. Oh, I mean, you know, I did my best. I did my best. I gave it the old college try, as they say. Play the free video preview of the movie. No, I don't want to do that. So yeah, these are pins inspired by me. So I'm going to check it out. Let's see. Got some interesting looks. There was a time on Pinterest, yeah, when I was looking at that kind of 60s eye makeup, the twiggy makeup. I was experimenting with doing that. I did that a few times. I haven't done it in a while. I think I'd like to do it again sometime. It is fun. I do like that kind of intense look. This one looks nice as well. Probably do something like that. I don't wear fake eyelashes though. I'm really not into wearing those. But yeah, The guys are talking about women they find attractive in chat. Short hairstyles, easy to maintain. These are interesting. I saw someone do the this kind of curling. There's a specific comb they would use to get these curls. I'd love to try it sometime, but I don't know that it would keep in my hair so much. I'm pretty lucky though. My hair is wavy, so I don't need to do too much in that regard. Especially like I can make it, you know, straighter or, you know, I have the option pretty easily to get it to go either way is what I'm saying. So I don't need to do a lot of setting that women with straighter hair have to do. Okay, like Cleopatra eye. Interesting. Oh, I'm liking this picture. Love that. Jane Birkin, huh? That's Edie Campbell. Edie Campbell. Oh, I like that hair too. The bangs with the long hair. Very nice look. Let's see, what else do we have in here? 30s makeup. Okay, pale foundation, thin arched eyebrows, heavy top mascara, light bottom, light pink to rosy, full and pouty. I mean, that's kind of the look we're always going for, right? No eyeshadow. Okay, day, no eyeshadow. Evening, all over shimmer, blue, green, purple. Both. Brown eyeliner, top and bottom. Okay. Yeah, it is weird when people have like full evening makeup on in the middle of the day sometimes. I mean, it depends. Some days you just want to look, you know, you want to get done up as a lady just because life is not as exciting as it could be. It adds a little bit of excitement, you know, when a lady gets herself done up. There's Kate Bush. Oh my goodness, Kate Bush. What is, okay, this is an interesting look. I love that hair. Okay, so that's like a curled, that has the same kind of wavy curls. Pulling off something like that would be fun. Like, I don't really set my hair like that. I could, though. I could, you know, with enough time and hairspray, pull off something like that. Yeah, I agree. It's good for your mind. I mean, yeah, it's just good for women to be in the habit of taking care of their appearance, you know. And also just spending time, you know, doing something that's completely feminine. It's apart from like it's just it you do better, you know. You like the song she did with Peter Gabriel? I can't even bring it to mind, but yeah, she did do a song with him. More ideas from my home feed. Oh, that's lovely. I love clown art. I'm a bit of a clown myself. Shout out to Hayden. Clown oppression is real. And I definitely like, okay. Oh, this is cute. Ooh, oil cleansing, and this is the photo they do. I like the photo though. I don't care about oil cleansing. I mean, I usually use oil-based cleansers, and I do have a cleansing oil, so I don't need to read about it. I know its benefits. But, you know, I use different things depending on, you know, what day it is, what else I have going on. I like this art here. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool drawings. Okay. I love Pinterest. It's so fun. I should get in on it. I haven't been on it in a while, like adding things or creating boards, because then you come up with some pretty neat stuff. You saw 4 male bald eagles fighting for a female today. And y'all want to act like women ain't the prize. Where's Galahad? Boom. Hayden's too young for me. He's like 20 years old, maybe, if that. He's probably the same age as David from Ocala. I love David from Ocala. I shouldn't make fun of him. I shouldn't make fun of any of them. I apologize. My behavior is inappropriate. I know better, but yet the good I want to do, I do not do. Oh, only love can break your heart. Yeah, I do like that one. It's a good one. It's a Neil Young cover. I like both versions. When you were young and on your own, how did it feel to be alone? I was only thinking of games that I was playing. Okay, this is a bit raunchy, to be honest. I don't know about that one. I like it. I like it, but it's a bit suggestive. I mean, a lot of these things are. Oh, wow, this is an interesting drawing. Art Deco flapper costume. I love it. Look at this. It's like a fish dress, and I love the headdress on it. Okay, it's a digital download. Like a print of it, honestly. A print of this would be lovely to have. Have it in the bathroom or something. Hmm. This is pretty as well. Okay, I love this. This is like some Chola stuff. Oh, I love the Chola look. So good. Everybody wanted to look like this in middle school. This was it. This was how every girl was doing it. Hmm. Okay, so I could like if I could tease my hair out, I could tease it like this girl in the right hand corner. Or I'm sorry, left hand corner. Top right. Yeah, or I could do the like pigtails, bottom middle. Who is my favorite clown? Little Lunchbox, obviously. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this for inspiration. I kind of want to do my hair with those kind of pigtails. Usually when I do pigtails, they're like down. They're like, but to like pull them up. I love them all, honestly. Could feather my hair out. But I really love that big like bouffant thing that one's got going on. Bottom left. Yeah. Little Lunchbox is my favorite clown. I don't know if she's been uploading on YouTube anymore. Yeah, I haven't seen her pop anything up. She does sometimes put things on like Facebook. Oh, we're gonna watch a little lunchbox video for a treat. Okay, we'll move off of this shtick that we're on. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37. Nice. Thank you, Zenny. Okay, so we're gonna share here a little lunchbox, doing her little lunchbox thing. This is my favorite clown, y'all. Show some respect on little lunchbox. This is a video she has, which is titled "Do I Miss Being Normal?" Do I miss being normal? And she's got a pretty simple clown look here, but it's unique. I'm liking it, so let's just dive in.
I'm just going to be honest. Sometimes I miss being normal. I should put that in quotes, I suppose, because I don't really know what that means exactly, but not a clown, I guess, would be the simplest way to put it. There are times when I miss walking down the street and not having people stare at me and having that look on their face like they're wondering if I'm special or something. There are times when I want to FaceTime with my family and I don't want them to burst into laughter when they see my face. There are times when I think perhaps I could have salvaged my clarage, although I don't think I would have been clappy in it, but I'm like, perhaps things would have been easier. I wouldn't have gone through all of those, just all the drama. Maybe I'd be bored out of my mind if I had just been complacent and been a person I wasn't happy being. But I would have received, I guess, respect from absolute strangers, which apparently is what we all are supposed to strive for. We're supposed to have this sort of image that we project out into the world, and even if we're suffering deep inside our souls, we do get feedback that is relatively closeted. Now, I'm very, very pleased with the closeted feedback that I receive. I don't ignore it. A lot of people get upset because I don't reply to their personal comments. There's a lot of comments. I don't respond to every single one. I typically respond when I have something to say, be it clapping back at someone because they don't know what they're talking about, which is quite common, or just giving an opinion or saying thank you or something. If it's a very long comment that is closeted, I pretty much always reply because there's something in there to reply to. But I say all this to say that while I appreciate all of the closeted energy that I receive, I'm a human being. I can't pretend that the negative doesn't bother me. And there are times when I think, would it be easier if I was just not the clown? Would it be easier if I just blended in with everybody else? And I guess part of me is disturbed by that because it would be easier, but it would also be really painful. But I still find myself thinking, do I want to continue this way? Do I want to be the truest me that I can be? I do, but it also hurts. It hurts time and time and time again to be betrayed by people, to have them act as if they care about you and then cast you to the side because you're not what they need anymore in the moment, or they found that they could use you to some degree. It's quite difficult being a celebrity. You know, people claim when I use that word, but it's just facts. I also love it, but it's also difficult. I never expected that this many people would be interested in my life. I was just venting. I was going through a really rough time. I'm really glad that I did it, but sometimes I'm like, is it too late? Can I just go and not be public anymore if I decided to? I don't think so, because there are people who, believe it or not, Claters, people do DM me and tell me that I've helped them when they were feeling really bad in their life. And that makes me feel like I must go on. Even if I someday don't want to do it anymore, I have to, because there are people who depend on me. There are people who watch my videos because it brings them pure joy. There are people who don't like me at all, and I feel like watching me brings them some type of joy, which is disturbing, kind of, but it's like it's also a closeted thing that I'm putting out into the world. And if it is negative, the people who feel that way have the option to not view it, so that's great. But sometimes it just really frustrates me when people go off and get upset at me because I use this platform to do what I've always said I was going to do with it: rant, vent, to express myself. And then you get people saying, "You've changed, all you do is complain." My first video was me chasing a man down the street, complaining, screaming, crying, having a meltdown. It's like people just want to complain. It's like you're complaining about me complaining in my own domain. That rhymed. I'm just really quite frustrated. And people say, if you don't like it, just stop. But it's really upsetting because I really do enjoy it. But then there's times when I just want peace. I don't want people getting upset at me because I don't check my messages and things like that. Like I don't get it. I just don't get it. I can't relate. There are people that I could admire and I message them and they don't respond and it is what it is. It's just absolutely draining sometimes. And I know I signed up for it. I am a queen after all. I am a royal. But sometimes I want to just run off into a cave and disappear. But then I'm going to give the Claters what they want.
Y'all, I need to respond to this comment. She's not in the UK. She lives in Sweden and she's American. There was a time period where she started doing a fake British accent, and that's what she's doing in this video. Like, brilliant. This chick is insane, but she's all about the lifestyle. She lives the lifestyle. It's you asked me what my favorite
People
song
depend
was.
on me and
It's
club me
Little
and support me will
Lunchbox.
be upset. And I
Millennial
just don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just very tired. And it's just really exhausting the way that things all went with Voldemort and then the actual club of my life, Little Tomato Seed. And I'm just like, is it wrong that part of me just wishes that I could just like go away and not be on the Clintonet, even though I really club it? But like, if there was some way that I could still be with Little Tomato Seed and we could just go and live on a ranch.
This is her. Okay, this is her husband's house, y'all. Okay, like she was having problems with her husband at this time. There's a whole backstory here. Okay, like internet drama world. She was having trouble with him. They were like, in and out. So this was a time when she was at the house and he wasn't. They've reconciled. Everything's going good. She seems to be a lot more stable, although she still does a bit of her clowning. She doesn't record videos like this, that kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is not, look at what it is. It's like X-Men, anime, nerdy stuff. Okay. This is not a woman's bookshelf by any stretch of the imagination. This is not what girls put on their bookshelf. Okay. Are we clear? There's Holder. I love Little Lunchbox. She's amazing. Nikki is back. John Frederick has joined us, as has Nicholas Little. Okay, you went to school with girls like this? I think I was the girl like this at my school. I wasn't like this, though. I mean, not like this.
Ranch somewhere far away, kind of like that ranch at the end of Long Kiss Goodnight,
Then
Judy
my
Davis
bookshelves
and
will be
her
full of
husband
nerdy
and the kid,
stuff.
they live all these
Hey,
animals, and it's so
Casa.
beautiful. And that's exactly what I imagined for us
Angel
with the
DVDs. Okay.
children.
Buffy, yeah, Buffy's back there.
Goats and sheep, and it's not going to happen, and I'm really upset about it. I've been drinking again also, which is like whatever, sometimes you just need a little bit of the alcohol, blame it on the goose. I don't know what I'm
Oh
really
my
saying
God.
here. I just wanted to rant. I'm really just getting tired of it. And everybody says just ban the Claters, and I am. But the block list is getting a bit long now, and I just I never wanted it to be that way. I always wanted people to be able to express themselves without crossing the line, but they just can't help themselves. And it reminds me of Britney Spears when the paparazzi just wouldn't leave her alone, and it was really not nice. And people just don't treat people like they're people. It's like some people literally refer to me as a punching bag, and that's just disturbing on all levels.
Girl, I understand.
I
Like,
don't
I can
know.
relate to her so much. She's a clown.
Yes, sometimes I
But
do miss
haven't we
being
all been a clown
normal
at
because
some point?
I miss not being treated badly, I guess.
She's married,
But I
John
really love who
Frederick.
I am. I just
Don't tell yourself
I
that
don't want people to
and
be
think
so
a little
mean.
bipolar is anything to
Like, even if you don't like me on my club
brush off.
choices, I'm not going to change.
She is not my
I've been very
role
straightforward
model.
about that. I'm not going to change.
She's
So what are you
relatable on
waiting
a
for?
human level. She's
What
not
are
my
you
role model.
doing exactly
Thank
except
you.
letting off steam because you're miserable? Maybe if you lived your true life, we
Yeah,
could all just live our true lives together and be happy and not like fight and have all this bullshit. There could
that's
be
right,
harmony,
girl.
but
Yeah, that's
people are
right.
too
If
afraid
we
to be
all lived
themselves,
our real
and
lives,
people like
everything
me
would be
really
much
piss them off
better.
because I just don't give a shit and they can't stand it because they
I know
don't
I
have the
live my
courage to just
best
not give a
life.
shit.
I don't know
So
about you guys.
I'm going to continue to not give a shit, but sometimes I do wonder.
I like her top. I like her top with like the pink makeup. The white, like, oh, there it goes. Oh, hey. Whoa, white, like, self-watch. Oh, there it goes. Isn't that crazy? It just redirected to me watching myself. That's funny. It's a girl. She's a girl. She's American. She's half black. Okay. She's got a whole interesting life story. She is married to a Swedish man who is very, liberal, as many Scandinavians are, and he's got this very, insane wife, and they don't have any kids, so she's up to stuff. Copy her makeup. Yeah, I don't think as crazy as I get with the makeup sometimes, I'm not doing all that. She did not grow up in a posh school. I do think, I don't know, from what her family does seem to be like somewhat privileged, but I mean, if you're an American, you're privileged, so I don't think she went to some kind of like private school or something. Her dad would be so proud. Goodness. That's not nice. Why she speaks so posh? She was doing it. She was doing it as a thing. She just started talking in a fake British accent for a while. It was like I don't know. You so good, kitty. You so good, kitty. Wow. I think it's time for me to get off of here, guys. It is 3 hours in, so I should. We had fun though tonight, didn't we? We did some reading, we did some talking, we did some AI storytelling. Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, he knows. He's like, get off of here, Ma. He's like, Ma, you're doing too much. Isn't he sweet? Isn't he sweet? Doesn't he make you, if you don't want to have a cat, to have a cat? Doesn't he just make you want to have a cat? Doesn't he make you want to go adopt a cat right now? Especially a black one? Isn't he the best kitty? He's so good. I know. I'm so happy to hear that, Tar Baby Yoda. That's amazing. They're amazing cats. Black cats. Who doesn't love a black cat? He black. Good kitty. Yeah, you was two cans today, weren't you? You was two cans today, weren't you? But yeah, isn't he amazing? Okay, guys. Well, have a good night, everybody. I'll see you around.